We'll get started. I'm Professor Tamer Çavuşgil. I have the pleasure of welcoming you all who joined us from different time zones and I'm sure different parts of the world. Today, myself and my colleagues will be discussing a very exciting initiative on the part of a partnership between the Academy of International Business, the premier professional society in international business, and CIBERs. Very briefly, CIBERs stand for Centers for International Business Education and Research. They are national resource centers recognized by the federal government in the United States and helping business schools, business faculty with their international outreach, research, training, mentoring programs. We're especially excited today because just a couple of weeks ago, we launched a very innovative initiative on behalf of the partnership, the AIB, the CIBERs, and I should also mention the University of Leeds Business School is also a partner and is represented in this webinar as well. It's an opportunity I think most doctoral students will appreciate. It's a professional, what we can describe the Doctoral Academy and the International Business Certificate Program. If we were to describe it very briefly, we're talking about a specialized contemporary training in international business through online modules and workshops delivered by world-class scholars. Most participants, doctoral students enrolled in the AIB certificate program will complete the requirements of the certificate over a year and a half or 2 years. And in the process, they will have gained a strong foundational knowledge of international business, develop a scholarly network needed for successful careers in international business, having been exposed to key content, foundational content, methods, as well as teaching best practice, and having developed a professional network early in their careers. The intended audience are doctoral students in international business, specialized in international business, or other business functions such as strategy, marketing, finance, even political economy, economics, and other areas as well. The Doctoral Academy idea was pretty straightforward when we started discussing it. We intended to provide formal structured training to doctoral students everywhere, realizing that only a small number of universities grant PhD degrees or even offer formal coursework in IB. So the idea was to compensate for that lack of structured international business training that we do not offer in most business schools. So that's the overview. I'm going to now turn to my colleagues here and say a few words about each of them. But I should mention also, I should acknowledge the 8 CIBERs, 3 of whom are represented here, who are part of this partnership that brought forth the IB certificate program and created the Doctoral Academy with great support, I should say, by the AIB board and the presidents, past, present, and future. The CIBERs that are involved are the CIBER Centers for International Business Education and Research at Georgia State, Michigan State University, Texas A&M, Florida International University, University of Colorado, Denver, Temple University, Brigham Young University, and Loyola Marymount University. So we are grateful for their support. So who is here with me? Let me just welcome them. First, Austrian, welcome. And thank you for joining us from University of Warsaw. Austrian is a key faculty member there, program leaders, and of course, the directors or head of the AIB Teaching and Innovation SIG. Thank you, Austrian, for joining us today. And we have Hannah Gajeska de Matos from University of Leeds, also partners. Thank you, Hannah, for joining us from Leeds University. And then we have Ahmet joining us from Michigan State University CIBER, where he is the director of the Center for International Business, Education and Research, and a professor of international business. Last but not least, we have Professor David Griffith from Texas A&M University. Most people know him, his scholarship and leadership in the IB community as well. So thank you all for joining us. So this is an opportunity for us to share many people who joined us today. And again, we appreciate everybody's time. An opportunity for them to learn about the Doctoral Academy and its innovative offering, the IB Certificate program, which was launched, and now we are receiving applications. So I'm asking each of you, and we'll start with you, Austrian, give us your take, your overview of what the Doctoral Academy and the IB Certificate stands for, and then we'll move on to some of the particulars, some of the specifics. Austrian?
Thank you so much, Tamir. And first of all, thank you for your wonderful leadership, for developing, and leading the whole team, working for now a couple of 2-3 years, I think, and on this fascinating project that is finally coming to fruition, that we have, the admissions opened and we can present it and really discuss it so nicely. And it's amazing that there's so many wonderful schools who join the forces, understanding that only together we can reach synergies, we can, build this global network and reach something really incredible. So the way I see Doctoral Academy as still being a considerably very young scholar in academia, I see it as an opportunity to really develop a huge range of skills and competences needed, right, in one place. Because as PhD graduates, we immediately need to learn, we need to be ready. We kind of learned and need to be ready to enter this very competitive world of academia. And we have to have skills in content. We have to have skills in methods and a wide range of methods, right? We have to have skills in teaching, because although we may join the research-oriented position, but still the teaching is usually the part of the things that we do to some extent. And then we also need to do the service for the community, or be sort of a part of the networks, have good mentors to guide us forward to really help us develop our career. And sort of where would a PhD candidate get this all in one place, right? Accessible. And sort of this is how the Academy's idea came into place, that why don't we provide this opportunity? Why don't we have this opportunity to really have a concentrated team and network of scholars providing all this to the students just in 2 years, and in relatively easy format, because primarily the format is online with very light face-to-face component to make it inclusive, to make it possible to participate from anywhere in the world, to support it with stipends, again, to make sure that everybody who are the most motivated, the most talented can join and develop their competences, right? So I really I'm really fascinated that this is happening, and looking forward for many, many questions and hopefully many applications, because the first round of applications has already started. Over to you, Tamir.
I'm glad you mentioned the questions, because this is why we're here today. This is an informational session. We're looking forward to receiving your comments and queries. Please post them and we'll respond to them in just a few minutes. So with that, let me ask Ahmet. Ahmet, give us your overview, your take of the Doctoral Academy and the IB Certificate in International Business.
Thank you very much, Tamir. Thank you for your leadership, and also my colleagues here for working with us for the past 2-3 years to make this happen. And also thanks for all the participants for joining us today. For me, the AIB Doctoral Academy is really the state-of-the-art program that represents the future of IB education. So with this program, we are offering modules that will help existing students in their own PhD programs to gain a global mindset. So for me, that's really the biggest advantage of this program from a doctoral student's perspective, as well as from a PhD director's perspective. Because traditional programs, as Tamer and Osrin mentioned, in the US and elsewhere, focus on functional areas. And IB courses, they're either offered, just one course or maybe two courses in most programs. But here we have a comprehensive package that allows students who study their own topics in their functional areas, do their own research, but it's a nice add-on that complements their program by providing a global mindset.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Ahmed. Let me ask Hannah. Hannah, please provide your impressions of the Doctoral Academy.
Thank you very much, Tamir. Thank you from my side as well for your excellent leadership, and thank you for all the colleagues I've been working with. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with you all. And to all the participants, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from the University of Leeds. We are very proud to be one of the partner institutions of the Doctoral Academy. And there are two key reasons why we are particularly excited about this global initiative. We believe that this is an excellent opportunity to invest in your professional and personal growth as a doctoral student, be it an international business student and equally any doctoral student in any other business discipline. So from the point of view of the professional development, the certificate program offers formal training in international business, which can become complementary if you are a non-international business student. And indeed, it can become an integral part of your doctoral program if you are already studying international business. And on a personal level, it really provides the students with global mindset. And as a cross-cultural researcher, I have to mention cross-cultural proficiency. And these are the skills which are very much needed in the world if you want to become a world-class researcher in business, in any discipline of business. As we all know, the world is currently undergoing global disruptions. We've all experienced COVID, climate change, geopolitical tensions, etc., etc. And yet we still remain globally connected. So the importance of the global dimension, of the international business dimension, remains very strong. Also, as future educators in business, you are very likely to teach international students. And again, this is a program that will equip you with the knowledge and skills for you to be able to do so. So in short, you are in very good hands. Very strong partnering institutions have put a lot of work into developing this program with you. And we very much look forward to discussing with you further details of the offering during the webinar today.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Hannah. There's already a question about the intended audience benefiting from the IB Certificate program. So Volkan asks, is this program only for doctoral students? The answer is yes. At the moment, we've designed this especially for doctoral students enrolled in formal doctoral education programs in a business school, typically around the world. So David, obviously you have been involved. I should mention that all five of us have been serving on the governing board of the AIB-CIBER Doctoral Academy and working very intensively over the year and a half period. So David, you've been involved with this program since the inception as well. So give us your take, your impressions of the Doctoral Academy and the IB-CIBER program.
Greetings from College Station, Texas, here on the campus of Texas A&M University. Tamara, first, let me start by thanking you for your leadership on this and my colleagues. This truly has been an enjoyable two-year journey, and I'm looking forward to our journey as we move forward. One of the leading issues in research, one of the biggest theories that has been applied is the resource-based view of the firm. And what we know from the resource-based view of the firm literature is having access to key resources is what makes firms successful. To me, the AIB-CIBER Doctoral Academy will provide its participants with access to resources that are beyond compare. We are talking about world-class faculty in terms of research, in terms of teaching. We are talking about world-class colleagues in terms of students in the program. And all of these things, from my perspective, man, I wish this was available when I was a student, because this would propel your career. And so for me, I really see this as a wonderful opportunity for people to connect and gain access to knowledge resources. I remember a story that someone on this panel once told me, that because they were from a different country, they were told they could teach international and be international. And we know that it's much more than being from a different country that really makes you a true IB scholar. And so this program will equip people with the knowledge to be successful in their teaching and their research, as well as provide just a phenomenal access to a network of colleagues. And I'll stop there. So welcome all, and thank you for joining us today.
Excellent. Thank you. I couldn't say it better, David. Yes, if you think about it, it's a new chapter in the evolution of the AIB and CIBER's serving the larger international business community. But the need has always been there. Many of us on this panel and many people out there know that around the world, it's rare that there is a good formal structured program at the doctoral level in international business, complete with the subject area courses, whether it's the theory or specialized topics such as international entrepreneurship, and also dealing with professional development and teaching skills, the classroom skills. Like David, I wish I had the opportunity to be part of such a learning and professional development program when I was in my PhD program. So, but let's dig deeper a little bit and talk a little bit more about the details. So we've given the overview, and Austrian, let me start with you. Tell us a little bit about the program design, because you again have been involved with this from the outset. As you mentioned, it was almost 2 years ago when you and I started talking about the Nord IB. You may mention that a little bit, or Hannah may mention it. And then we said, well, we need a program that appeals and that is accessible to everyone around the world.
Absolutely, Tamir. And actually, I do see more questions coming in relation to what the topic that you just brought in. So basically, let me get back to the key facts, because as you said, details are important. So the program runs over 2 years period. And even if you are completing your PhD prior that, you're still okay to join it. There was a question in the chat about that. So it would be totally okay, because this is a certificate. This is not a degree program, right? So you are just adding it on to your ongoing education, right? And as you see in the admission requirements, there are basically 3 very basic requirements that this is sort of, like Hannah also mentioned, it's either a part, so you are integrating it into your studies, into your coursework in your program, or you would be doing this on the top of your PhD program. So enrollment in the your program is a necessity. It doesn't matter, do you finish your degree before or after? but you can still, start when you are actively engaged in the PhD program. And it lasts for 2 years, which means we really expect you to be committed for 2 years. It would be really important that you go through the entire program, because one of the reasons why we have this program or cohort setting is that you really build a network of your colleagues and peers whom you are going to potentially co-author, exchange your views, develop different projects and so on and so forth, because this is our international team of scholars, same motivation, same interests coming together. And this is your first access to the global mindset, as Ahmed mentioned, right, through which you are gaining the possibility. And then basically what happens is that it starts and ends with the Academy of International Business annual meeting. So this is sort of primarily where the traveling component comes, where you get to see face-to-face, while also participating in an excellent world-class level conference and meeting your mentors, your educators, your top professors in the field, in addition to your colleagues with whom you will be working or have been working for a couple of years. And then there are multiple courses that probably Ahmed will talk later on, walk you through those in detail, which are happening online over the period of 2 years. So I will stop there. Probably that's sort of a general overview of the program and how it's set.
I should thank you, Austri, and I should mention that, of course, the AIB has already established a website for the IB certificate program. You'll see that. I'm sure Austrian will put that link. And I should also mention that AIB has a staff member, a very competent friend of ours, colleague of ours, Eva, who will be managing the Doctoral Academy on behalf of AIB and the CIBER partnership. So things have been set in place. Application process is there. All the information is there, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But Ahmed, a little bit more maybe about the curriculum, because it's comprehensive and it's delivered by, as we all said, world-class scholars, young and old, from around the world, a diverse group of people from various countries who are well known in their field, have specialized knowledge. So if you can say a little bit more about the curriculum, instructors, and expectations for completion of the certificate program.
Sure. Yeah, I would be very happy to give more details. So as one of the, in the meantime, trying to answer some of the questions that we have, yes, this is a 2-year program. So we start with the AIB conference, and then at the end, we have the IB Certificate of Completion for doctoral students. And these studies, these modules are designed to complement PhD education at your home university. So those are some of the basic premises that were built on. If you could move to the next slide, I can talk a little bit more about the modules and the breakdown. So in the first year, we start with the AIB annual meeting, face-to-face. Preferably, we would be expecting the doctoral students to join us in the first conference, because that's part of the socialization, networking that would allow these students to get to know faculty members who would be teaching these courses, get to know the IB community. Then the courses are going to start in the fall of that year with 3 modules, 3 basic fundamental modules. And those modules are going to be, next slide, the history of evolution, the history and evolution of international business discipline, international business theory and future perspectives in IB, and research methods. So we start with those in the fall. And then in the second year, June-May period, basically students split up into their functional areas, and choose from a number of electives that are going to be available in module 4, 5, and 6, as you can see in this list. So if you're a strategy student, and if you want to know more about the international business side, you're going to take the 3 modules at the beginning. And then from module 4, you'll pick probably international management strategy. And then from module 5, you'll pick maybe international entrepreneurship or knowledge, innovation, and technology in IB, or cultural frameworks and cross-cultural research. And then in module 6, sustainability research in IB, or maybe a specific methods course that's going to be offered at that time based on the availability of faculty and students. So that's the second year. And the last component of the IB Academy involves a number of networking events and teaching focus. So the module 7 is about teaching international business. How do you teach international business? And we're going to invite top scholars in IB field to give you details about how to teach IB. And then the module 8 is actually a series of workshops and webinars that you will need to attend that are organized either by AIB or by CIBERS. So the program will start with the AIB meeting and end with the certificate 2 years later in another AIB meeting where you're going to get your final IB certificate. And during this period, faculty who are going to be teaching these courses, as Tamer and Austrian have mentioned, are really either the fellows of AIB or top scholars in their own respective fields. For the first 3 modules, for example, Peter Buckley and Tamer Çavuşgil have already agreed to teach the history and evolution of international business discipline. Andrew Delios is going to teach the international business theory and future perspectives in IB. We have a research methods in international business by Rebecca Piecari and Stuart Bugelsdik. And then other modules are going to be taught. Module 4, 5, 6 are going to be taught by top scholars in their own respective field. Stop here. And if there are any other questions, I'll be happy to answer about the content of the program.
Excellent. Thank you also for the queries that you're posting. Let me respond to some of them. Our colleague Ernst Polk says, is it possible to take only part of the program? Really, our intention is for the enrollees to start and complete the program. So it is not a good idea for somebody who does not have the intention from the outset to complete the whole program to sign up. It is a complete package training program, and I think people will benefit only if they take part in the entire sequence of modules, courses, training, and so on. Also, a question about someone who's studying in the doctoral program in psychology. We encourage folks in other social sciences, such as political science, economics, anthropology, also to consider specializing in IB by enrolling in the IB certificate program. A question about DBA, do they qualify if someone is in the DBA program as opposed to PhD program? Yes, they are also eligible to apply and enroll. So let me then turn to our good colleague, David. Hannah, I think you are next. Hannah, say a few more things about the intended global nature of the audience, because we designed this program as an opportunity for doctoral students everywhere, and also parallel to one's doctoral studies. So the idea is that it's complementary one studies in their doctoral program, whether it's IB or non-IB, even a related social science discipline. Anna?
Thank you, Tamir. Yes, so there are numerous reasons why this program would be of interest to global audience, and especially to complement the PhD program of potential candidates. And I could list many of them, but I thought I would focus on three key advantages of joining this program. So first of all, it enables the students to expand the scope of doctoral education and enhance with global insights. And I think a particular strength of the program in this regard is that it's got its core modules, which is the strong foundation, which give you the strong foundation in international business. But then also a big part of the program is the tailor-made part, which then consists of the elective modules, which students can, as Ahmed described, students can pick from these different modules to complement their current PhD degree. And this, of course, enables them, the students, to make sort of themselves, to create the benefits of the program by selecting the appropriate subject areas that they wanted to study. The second benefit I would highlight, the second reason to enroll for this, or global reach of this program, is that it enables the students to develop their academic competencies. It is in the context of international business, but these are academic competencies that are relevant to future academic career in any business discipline. And this would be through the students' participation in research methods, as Ahmed highlighted, and also to learn best teaching practices from world-class experts in international business. And a particular strength on developing academic competencies is this tailor-made part on self-reported workshops and webinars. So, for example, all the students will be expected to attend the Academy of International Business conference. And in addition to the main program of the conference, there is a very diverse and very rich pre-conference program, which consists of various events enabling you to build your academic career. So, for example, we've got a prestigious doctoral consortium, AIB Foundation Doctoral Consortium. We've got the junior faculty development workshops. We also have an innovation of introducing the All Academy Reviewing Workshop. So these are all activities and training sessions that enable you to be a competent academic, competent future member of the faculty, which is an advantage in international business and in other business disciplines. So the first point was expanding the scope of your doctoral education and enhancing it with global insight. Second is developing your academic competencies in the context of international business, and these competencies are transferable. And the third point, and I would highlight it as the most valuable for a PhD student, as a former PhD student myself many years ago, and currently as a director of PhD program at Leeds University, the advantage is developing a strong professional network. And this is both with the experts in international business, because the program is designed as such that it enables interaction, live interaction with top faculty in international business, and also interaction with fellow doctoral students. PhD journey is a very lonely experience at times, and it's really reassuring to have this support network of friends and colleagues who are going through the same experience. Attending also the Academy of International Business events, such as the conference, the Academy, the major conference in international business. Also, it's a great opportunity to be smoothly integrated into the international business community. So in this sense, these would be the key reasons why students should consider enrolling for this program. And of course, there is the icing on the cake, which is that successfully completing the program leads to students earning an official certificate of completion to showcase their strong knowledge and competencies in international business.
Excellent. Thank you, Hannah. And I'm so glad you mentioned, some doctoral students in some programs, while they're in the program, they feel very lonely. So in a sense, wouldn't it be nice to be expanding one's network, the ecosystem, and being part of a cohort of similar students all around the world, and working with top scholars and master teachers. I mean, so from the get-go, this is the big value. And I'm also happy that you mentioned the interdisciplinary nature of IB. We are all biased, but we feel that any business faculty should have a degree of specialization, competence in international business, in cross-cultural management strategy, and should have a global mindset. So especially, this is a big need, especially in the business schools in the United States. So this is why we're encouraging people studying perhaps a non-IB specialization in their doctoral program to secure this specialization IB, which will make them much more marketable on the job market and will broaden their perspectives. And I think will enrich their academic careers as well. Again, we're all biased, but we all feel that in studying IB is a wonderful opportunity to broaden one's perspectives and fully enjoy the world around us. David, I would love for you to comment on these issues, especially the value of the certification, the importance of developing a network of potential collaborators, perhaps, because there is a writing aspect and paper development aspect and publishing aspect built into the program as well. So if you can say a few things about that, that would be great.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Tamara. I actually want to pick up on one point you made and kind of I'll couch my comments in that, and that is the job market. Right. In the field of marketing, we are currently in the heat of the job market. We get about 150 to 200 applicants per job opening at Texas A&M, and that is consistent with all of the schools in the U.S. And so I really do think that the AIB-CIBER Academy certificate provides a competitive advantage, right? It emphasizes international business, but also drills down into functional areas. And as my colleagues were saying, it also has a flexible curriculum, so you can specialize your program to complement what is offered by your university, and thereby provide you a competitive advantage in the marketplace by your curriculum. When we're looking at CVs that are submitted, everyone has the courses they've taken and the outstanding professors they have. Well, this is an opportunity for you to add the brand of AIB-CIBER Academy to your CV, as well as list world-class scholars that you've taken courses from. And I think this is really the quality and the visibility of these scholars as faculty go through your CV and they're thinking about bringing people onto their faculty is really going to be a key issue for you. As all of my colleagues have talked about, this is an opportunity to make connections and build that network. So I was recently at the wonderful city of Warsaw in Poland at the AIB Academy, or at the AIB conference, and I've been in this field for 25 years. And as I walked into that large venue, you see 1,000 people there, and immediately you're looking around to say, who do I know? Right? I mean, granted, you get your coffee first, but after you get your coffee, you walk up the stairs and you're like looking down to say, okay, who am I going to know? So while we are talking about building your network, and I think all of your PhD advisors talk about building your network, What I've seen over 25 years of going to conferences is I need to find people I know. And there's a handful of people you know at all of the conferences, but you're always looking for them. This is an opportunity to decrease the stress of going to conferences because you're part of the group, right? You're going to be coming to those conferences. We're going to be putting people in a room. We're going to be bringing in AIB fellows, AIB scholars. You're going to be having them in class. You're going to be meeting your colleagues. This is a 2-year program, so we'll have interactions between the different cohorts. So you expand your network that way as well. So making connections, while it will lead to things you can put on your CV, whether it be the courses you've taken or hopefully the scholarship through the research collaborations that you have, therefore increased research productivity during the program, which is what every university wants, right? Everyone's a research university, but everyone is also a teaching university, right? And I think that's a real key issue. Oftentimes my colleagues will be talking, research is the only thing that matters. And I'm like, we are in the field of higher education. We have to have outstanding teachers. And so this program will provide you the critical resources in research and in teaching to truly propel your career, as I mentioned at the beginning. And it will also de-stress you by having a larger group of people that you can interface with outside of the program that you know from the program, both during your doctoral studies, through your assistant professor and associate professor years, as well as every time you go to a conference and you're looking for those few people you know, so that you don't have to be alone. So I think that all of those really become key aspects of moving you forward and why I am so passionate about this program. Thank you, Tamir, for the time.
Thank you. Well, I'm so excited. I want to sign up. So how do I do it? So let's talk about a bit more practicality, enrollment, and lots of questions about the fees. Yes, there is a fee. First of all, Austrian provided the website to the Doctoral Academy site of AIB. It's part of the AIB website. So that link is there and all the information that you need is there. Yes, there is a cost. There is a registration cost involved. It's $3,000 for the entire experience. It's highly subsidized. This is obviously why we have put together this partnership of 8 cybers, the AIB. All partners are putting in significant dollars, significant financial investment in this program. So it would not have been possible without the generosity of the cybers as well as the Academy of International Business. So the $3,000 fee is highly subsidized, but it's there. But there's more good news, right, Austin? Yes, a couple of you are asking, are there fellowships available? Indeed, we have been very fortunate to receive a significant investment from the endowment, Bodeven in the endowment. This comes to us through Marilyn Bodeven, the spouse of late Professor Jean Bodeven, who's one of the most established scholars in IB and one of the founding fathers of the Academy of International Business. So Marilyn and the Bodeven Endowment has made a substantial gift, which will provide fellowships to qualified select enrollees, applicants in the program. So that is available there to help defray the cost of the $3,000 registration fee. There are possibly down the road other fellowships coming through as well. So I won't mention that, but we have the opportunity to also help subsidize the program cost further. But Austrian, so I raised my hand. I said I want to enroll. Tell me what do I do? What do I need to do right now?
Sure, Tamir. And actually, before I go to to the details, just one mention, I absolutely loved what David brought about the company and being in this big room. One thing to add is the tacit knowledge. There's so much of tacit knowledge in our scholarly work, right? Even by selecting a journal you want to publish. It's, yes, you can go and read about the statement of the journal or something, but unless you really talk with the person who have published there or have tried to publish with a colleague who've been working. The same thing with teaching. I'm going to teach for international classroom. I've never had this or this student from that or that country, right? There are so many tips and tricks that you can share. And when you have this network, it's so easy to, write an email, schedule a call. And this is sort of why we have the cohorts going, sort of cohort setting. So there are many different kind of motivations to enroll. But how? Yes. So Tamir, answering to your question now, the big news. So actually, the first cohort application is already on. We are a little bit of sort of a different application round this time because we used the AIB meeting this time for launching the program, right? So in that sense, we've launched in this AIB 2023, and which means that the first cohort can apply already now. And the applications are open until August 15. So there are still a couple of weeks to really prepare. And as you can see, application process is really light on one hand. At the same time, it's really meant to really see that, that the most motivated student, the most committed students, and those who really want to develop their global mindset, their network, their global competences in a field of IB would come to the program. So if you are considering and if you're ready, please do send in the website that we shared in the chat. You already have the application form and you can see the application form. It's very light in many ways. Now, the requirements are the recommendation letter from your supervisor or the program director, depending on sort of who is of your access. And then it's very important to us to see your motivation, why you would like to study international business, how you would use this program. And sort of we look there also to help you think and strategize how you can achieve best, right? How you can literally not just get a certificate and a paper, but how can you strategically use this program to excel, to really take all the benefit of what this program can offer. Then, of course, your CV with your courses completed. And again, great news, you don't have to have any additional certificate for proving your English skills. All we would like to have is a brief video with you talking about your research in English, right? So we already know about your research. We already know what are your interests, and also then it helps us to plan the accordingly electives and sort of see how the cohort is moving towards certain preferences. So that's the first application round, already August 15. Now, if it's too fast, it's still good news, because right after the first cohort application rounds, the second cohort application round starts. So if you are planning to apply for the second cohort or any subsequent cohort, so it would be always September 1st, March 10th. This is sort of a quite lengthy window when we are receiving the applications. And by the April 1st, you are issued the decision, which means that you can plan your trip to the AIB conference. It's easy to apply for the scholarship. It's easy to sort of plan your trip in relation to the conference. And then it would start sort of if you're applying through the second window of second cohort application, which means that you would officially start the program already at AIB 2024 in Korea, Seoul, which is extremely nice location to visit. So I stop here, and of course, happy to discuss any further details.
Excellent. And a good question is asked by Rahman. How much time is expected for a student in the program to invest in it? So I think that's an excellent question. Each module in the curriculum is a 15-hour module. And they're, of course, interspersed and taught over 2 to 3 weeks. So during those 2 to 3 weeks, it's going to be intensive, right? There's going to be work before, during, and possibly after as well. So one should organize the enrollment in these modules so that they don't overwhelm their work schedule, their workload. And because we assume always there's other coursework that the student is completing as part of their home university, and maybe doing research and so on. So it does require over those 2-3 weeks significant commitment of time. Anyone else from the panel would like to comment on that? Ahmed?
I'd like to just say one thing. I think that it's really important that people consider, I mean, you talk about significant amount of time. It's actually not that significant. And during the doctoral program is the time where you actually have the most time. And I know every doctoral student feels that they don't have any time. But once you move into faculty, the demands on your time, research, teaching, service, they're not opportunities to do a whole lot else. The pressure from teaching increases tremendously because you have to be excellent in the classroom, but then you have to publish considerable research, and you have to serve both the college, the department, the university, and the community of scholars you're in. So I really do think that this is a wonderful opportunity while you're still in the program to gain those additional knowledge, that research capability to prepare you. And every program is different, and so I think you have to think about how it fits into your specific program. Here at Texas A&M, we have a 5-year program, which really only has 2 years of coursework, so it builds really well at the end of it when formal coursework at the university has ended. But it's not a significant amount of time. My guess is most people spend more time watching streaming in a week than they would actually spend engaged in this program. And I would say the following: streaming will be there when the program is done. At least most streaming services will be. So I'd highly encourage you to look at it as a minimal time investment and a maximum benefit that you'd be receiving.
Absolutely. And
right.
Please, Ahmed. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to add that let's not look at this as on the top. Your institution may additionally allow you to incorporate these credits into your study credits, right? So for example, I have a degree from the University of Vasa, but most of my courses that I've taken come from outside, because they're particularly in different kind of, depending on how structured is your program, depending on what are the approaches, right? But typically there is certain level of flexibility in every school to incorporate the coursework into your actual program, right? Where that's why we're not attaching this program to any specific sort of hourly rate. Is it ECTS or is it whatever credit points, right? What we are providing is the amount of hours, the level of scholarship, and who is delivering, and what is going to be the content. And with this certificate going to your school, and according to your country's regulation, wherever you would be, you're able to discuss how to incorporate it in your actual program so that it would support you in your degree, but it not necessarily may everything land in your official certificate, right? So this is another thing to consider, building on what David mentioned.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 things. One, 15 hours per week. It's not 15 hours per week. The entire module is 15 hours, right? So that's going to be spread over, depending on how faculty design their own syllabi. It's going to be spread over a period of 2-3 weeks, and there will be some preparation before and maybe some work after, but the recommended time for engagement from the governing board is about 15-20 hours up to 30 hours per module. So if you look at the typical PhD course in an American university or elsewhere, the expectations for one course is a lot higher. So in that regard, even when a student decides to be part of the AIB Doctoral Academy during the time they are taking the courses. And that's a big if, because if you finish your coursework and sign up for the AIB Doctoral Academy, that's the only thing that you'd be doing in terms of taking courses. Of course, you'll have other responsibilities, but the point goes back to what David said. Well, you know, that's the world we live in. After you're a faculty member, your life is not going to be any easier. You're going to be juggling all these balls anyway. So that's one. And the second piece is related to what Austin has mentioned about different structures, different ways of incorporating this into the program. Some universities may want to give credits for this. And even in American universities, there are ways to give credits for this. If you take an independent study from a faculty member, and if the faculty member is okay with the idea to give a pass and fail for 3 credits, well, that's how we can incorporate that into your coursework. And you count that for 3 or even maybe 6 courses, depending on the flexibility that your institution is going to give you because you're attending the AIB-CIBER Doctoral Academy. So there are lots of different ways you can incorporate this into your program by counting it as credits if you talk with your doctoral PhD program directors, or maybe there are some universities outside the US that can readily accommodate this as part of their curricular credit system.
Excellent. Thank you, Ahmet. And there may be some other comments, questions here. Austin, thank you for answering some of these. Let's make sure we have not missed anything. We're just about a few minutes before the end of the hour. I should mention that this session is recorded, will be available for viewing later on through the AIB website. I should also mention that Ms. Eva Kule is the program administrator on behalf of the AIB and the CIBERs participating in the Doctoral Academy. So she'll be happy to answer your questions. She's part of the AIB Secretariat located at Michigan State University. What else? So do take a look at the website. Austin has posted it, and bring your questions. If you have any further questions, we'll be happy to respond to.
There is one question, quite specific. Are the courses graded or just pass or fail? So at this point, probably we leave it to the faculty. Tamir, maybe you would like to.
Yeah, I think we agreed that most faculty will go with pass and fail system, pass and fail system, yes. So that makes it straightforward and easy. So the role of, several you mentioned, maybe one comment, David, you may want to comment about this. I think they need to involve the program director, the doctoral advisor, doctoral supervisor, sometimes in the code. I think this decision by the doctoral students should be ideally made in conjunction with their program directors, doctoral program directors, or advisors. In fact, we do require a letter of recommendation from them. So the rationale for that, David, is important. Can you explain a little bit?
Yeah, I think that, obviously we want the doctoral program directors or the advisors involved, and if the director is necessary. But I think that what we're looking at here, or what you're looking at as a student, is really building out your profile and your portfolio as a marketing scholar. We always talk about positioning in the marketplace, right? What makes you differentiate, right? What adds value to your portfolio? And I think that you want to work closely with your advisor to consider I've been at a lot of different schools. Some schools have had a real strong IB group and other schools have not. And so sometimes there's an informing, an educational role that you would actually play as a doctoral student about what you want your career to be and how this will benefit you in achieving your long-term goals. And so we want it really to be a collaborative effort between you and your advisor to see the value in this. And you know, some advisors are really strong international people or have a flavor for that, and others, you know, there's a bit of education that needs to go along of how this will enable you, once again, to achieve your goals. At the heart of doctoral education should be the student's goal, right? What the student wants to achieve. And for many people, it is gaining an understanding of international business from a theoretical perspective. Just being international doesn't make you an international business scholar. There's so much more to it. And this program is what really will provide you that foundation. I mean, this morning I saw on AIB-L, which is the listserv of the Academy of International Business, you know, Ivy School looking for 2 IB scholars. So there are jobs specifically in IB that if you have a functional area PhD is not going to place you in good stead for those positions. And given that globalization is occurring, whether we talk about the disruptions as Hannah was talking about, which kind of is a deglobalization issue at some point, we know that our MBA programs, which are the bread and butter of every university's budget line, have to have global business courses in them. And this type of program will prepare you to be an outstanding educator in those programs. And I think conveying that to your advisor, I mean, your advisor is going to know very quickly that, yeah, we need people who are going to be able to easily and confidently go into those classes, and you gain that confidence through certificate programs such as this, and you communicate that to the job market through certificate programs such as this.
Well said. Thank you, David. So I think, again, another question. Yes, the program is only for doctoral students, not faculty at this point. Austrian?
Yeah, yes, there was one question about the limits of the age limits.
Okay.
And I just thought probably to emphasize that the program is meant, we had extensive discussions on how to make this program as inclusive as possible, no matter where you come from, no matter what's your age, right? No matter what's your, you know, socioeconomic status. The idea is to really support the most motivated people who are willing to develop their competences and really support their global career development. So there are no age limits, there are no gender limits, there are no nationality limits, there are no any kind of limits. As long as you would like to join, welcome, and as long as you are active PhD student in your home institution, because there were many comments. So these are the major prerequisites.
Right. By the way, the slides that we have used today are available on that Doctoral Academy website that Austrian has provided the link. So they're all there. They are available for you. Take a look at that. Bring your questions to Ms. Eva Kule at the AIB. We look forward to your further questions if you have any, and applications down the road. As we mentioned, the sign-up period has started, and we're looking forward to kicking the very first cohort. So one more chance before we wrap up for some final words of wisdom. Hannah, let's start with you and then move on.
So I hope we convinced you by our enthusiasm. Hopefully you can see we passionately believe that this is a great opportunity for any PhD students in any business studies to take part in. It's the certificate, AIB-CIBER Certificate, strongly enhances your CV. David talked about, you know, it opens many doors. It sends strong signals to your future employers. When you attend conferences, you've got people to talk to. You strongly enhance your knowledge and skills as a future academic in international business and related disciplines. So don't hesitate, apply now.
Thank you for that enthusiastic encouragement. Ahmed.
Well, I agree. I mean, I think this is really a great opportunity for doctoral students all around the world. And it's going to create a competitive advantage that's going to make you more marketable and certainly provide you with a lot of interesting insights, especially if you're not familiar with the IB field. If you are, it's even better because you're going to be able to dive much deeper and gain a much detailed understanding of the issues that we talk about in IB. And of course, the networking aspect, social aspect of the program adds extra value. So it's really good value for what you get. And yeah, it's a little demanding, but hey, you know, the standards are going up. And if you want to meet those standards, you have to be ready to move forward and make that commitment.
Definitely. Well said, Ahmed. David.
I'll just stress the fact that I do think the social aspect is really, really important. Just as an example, let me give a shout out to Stan from the University of Alabama, who's with us today. As you go to these meetings, as you scroll through the attenders, you're seeing people you know, and you're like, hey, you know, that's my colleague, right? And through this experience, you'll start developing that network that it's just so meaningful. It's so enjoyable. The relationships you develop in your career, you know, you usually have a small set of people. You'll know a lot of people, but you have a small set of people that you're really going to click with, and you're going to see at every conference. And it, you know, I think academics, there are some people who are social butterflies, but a lot of academics are a little bit introverted. And this is a great way to, you know, coordinate, hey, let's go out to dinner when we're at a conference and let's see each other. And it's just a great opportunity to build that network. You're going to get all these great knowledge stuff and everything else. But at the end of the day, it's the social interactions that are most meaningful to all of us. And you know, I've known Tamer for years and Ahmed for years, and you know, I always look forward to seeing them at conferences and hanging out. And so take this as an opportunity to, you know, to get involved. I would say register now. Talk to your advisor this week. Don't wait. When we wait for things, marketing research shows we don't do it. So I would say, you know, take advantage of this opportunity, get involved, build your social network, you know, develop your skills.
Standing. Thank you, David. And I should remind folks that the size of the cohort, especially the very first cohort, is limited. So we are not able to accommodate, you know, dozens and dozens of people. We'd like to keep the cohort to a reasonable sum to maximize the interaction. So those early applicants who show commitment and determination to complete the program will have an edge over the others. Osrin, you have the last word.
Just a very quick one. I mean, David definitely nailed it in terms of the social family. So finding your family. I would just add on what David brought sort of earlier about the requirements, about the increasing requirements, right? This is sort of your way to get all the ticks made ready for you to start a successful career. You need, you know, broad understanding about methods. You have both. You have qualitative, you have quantitative. If you're asked to review or comment, you know, you may be quantitative or qualitative researcher. You are used, you know, you're asked to referee or sort of look at other people's work, you know what they're talking about. You may know one theory, you may be working with one theory. Now you have a wide range of understanding of the field, right? So you can engage in conversation beyond your narrow working area. You can see this cross-disciplinarity, you can see these views. You need to teach, you're ready to teach. You need advice, you're ready, you're ready, you know whom to call and get your friends' help call, right? So this is all in one place. So just as David said, apply now and really use this fantastic opportunity, particularly that there's loads of support, regardless, of any constraints that you may think of. So welcome and looking forward.
Excellent. And I want to thank each of you, Osri, Hannah, Ahmed, and David, for joining us today. And I want to recognize once again, we have offered this webinar on behalf of the Academy of International Business, the Premier Professional Society in IB, as well as 8 cybers at Georgia State University, Michigan State University, Texas A&M, Florida International University, University of Colorado, Denver, Temple University, Brigham Young University, and Loyola Marymount University. So thank you again for joining us. Have a good rest of your day.